everybody. Welcome back inside the CrossFit Update Studios. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood as we get you set for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games season. The Open is right around the corner, and today we are breaking down the Central Regional and the two regions that feed into it. This is one of the regionals that has not changed whatsoever for the past couple of years. It is still made up of the Central East and the North Central regions, and each region will send 20 athletes to the regional competition, and then the regional itself gets 5 men, women, and teams that will be advancing to the CrossFit Games. And the big story here, I mean, obviously there's some good stories on the women's side and the team side with Mayhem now sending 2 teams, but the men's field here is easily the best in the world, and that's without Matt Fraser moving there.
Yeah, the list of previous Games athletes when we were chatting before the show, it's robust. You've mentioned Fraser coming back, and then don't forget, you've got some people that had some rough years in the past. Dan Bailey, hopefully healthy, throwing down again this year. Throw Jacob Hepner in the mix, and this regional is going to be out of control.
I mean, we're talking about a dozen men that have individual qualifications for the Games just in the last 3 years. I mean, just by that virtue alone, this is the most stacked regional competition I've ever seen in my time working for CrossFit. And I think you look at this is largely unaffected by the actual changes that we've had this year, but yet somehow everybody decided to move into this region. You have athletes like Dakota Rager moving in, you have Christian Lucero, a bunch of athletes that were scattered across the country now joining what was already a pretty
They did not make it easy on themselves.
Totally. I mean, there are 5 athletes there that have finished within the top 10 in the last 3 years, and there are only 5 spots. So there are going to be some big names. I mean, 7 Games athletes are going to be going home after regionals without another qualification. That's just insane to me, and I don't know what would possess someone to move to this region at this point in time.
Who do you think gets left out here? I know it's early, and there's still going to be some names that are going to be jumping into this thing after the Open, but you got to pick some of these guys. Like you said, Games athletes are going to be on the outside looking in.
This is where we're going to make our money. I mean, let's be serious. Fraser basically means there's going to be 4 spots up for grabs. And I would say Panchik and maybe Hepner, based on their body of work, are about as close to a guarantee out of this list after that.
I'm going to believe in Alex Anderson as well.
Yeah.
So that's how many now, maybe? 4? Did we already at 4?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot left out.
And don't sleep on some of these up-and-comers in this region, too. You have athletes like Darwin Perez and Anthony Davis last year who went team and went to the Games. They were the top 2 finishers in the Open. They were 5th and 6th worldwide in the Open from this regional competition, and they didn't even go individual. They could go individual now. You have athletes like George Sterner, who was 18 years old last year when he finished 9th at regionals. There's just athletes in abundance there that could make it hard to even qualify for regionals this year, much less make it to the Games.
There were some rumors out there about whether or not Josh Bridges was going to get into this regional, but he is going to be staying put in California.
Yes, he is a landowner, so he purchased some land out there, and I don't know if he has intentions to build or whatnot in the future, but with regards to where he'll be competing and registering for the Open in 2018, he'll still be throwing down on the West Coast.
Yeah, and if I were Josh, this is just speaking for myself, I might have called up my contractor and been like, you know what, let's break ground in July.
No rush.
Let's not leave any doubt. And I know we're focusing on the regional here, but I mean, it's just going to be crazy getting to that point, because we've mentioned 12 Games athletes. And don't forget, the great thing about the Open is that there are going to be some names in either the North Central or Central East region that we're talking about who get in the mix here, who might be able to steal one of those 5 spots in Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah, and don't sleep on a guy who made it last year, Street Horner. I got to watch him throw down in a non-sanctioned competition earlier this year that he won. Last year at 22 years old, made his debut at the Games, finished 14th. He's carrying himself now, from what I've seen, with a new level of confidence that he belongs with the best in the sport. He could be a guy that could upset some people and send one of the big names home.
It is going to be a lot of fun to watch through the Open and onto the regionals, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on the Central East and the North Central. For Pat and Tommy, I'm Sean. Don't forget, sign up for the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games Open at thegames.crossfit.com.